Use my phone share.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the January 31st, 2017 Vergne Planning Commission regular meeting at 6 p.m. We do have a quorum. Our first item of business is to approve the minutes from the December 27th, 2016 regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes pass. Our first item of business under old business, recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, request for subdivision acceptance of the Walmart commercial subdivision requested by Carlson Consulting Services, 3 lots on 45.15 acres, property located along Murfreesboro Road, Plat Book 38, page 257, C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District, property owned by Walmart Real Estate Business Trust. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I mentioned at the workshop, we did receive the as-built drawings, which was the last item that we were missing. I have the 4 copies here, and we have no technical items to address tonight.
Any questions or comments?
All the technical items been addressed, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. Our next item, under old business, recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, request for subdivision acceptance of the Center Point Lot 13 and the re-subdivision of Lot 14 Industrial Park subdivision, requested by Little John Engineering, 3 lots and public utility extension on 108.2 acres, property located between Center Point Drive and Center Point Way, tax map 029, parcel 1.08, and tax map 017, parcel 37.04. I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by CPDC Centerport Holdings, LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unfortunately, we have not received the actual revised as-built drawings in hand yet. They were supposed to have been received this week, but I have not received them yet, so this item will have to be deferred until the next month.
Excellent. Our next item of business, under new business, final plat re-subdivision of Jane Ann Lester subdivision requested by Huddleston Steel. 5 proposed lots on 2.01 acres, property located at Gamble Lane and Sunrise Drive, tax map 017D, Group D, parcel 4.01, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Jane Ann Lester. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since the workshop, all of the technical items were addressed. You can see in your revised plat that the existing garage that was on Lot 7 has now meets the accessory structure regulations and is at least 10 feet from the side and the rear lot line. So we have no items to address tonight.
Good. Any questions or comments from the board?
All technical items been addressed, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes as well. Our next item of business, final plat, Lakewood Subdivision Phase 7, requested by Womble & Associates. 25 proposed lots on 8.38 acres, property located at Stones River Road and Hollandale Road. Tax map 016, parcel 16 and 23.01. R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Abnon Shrievman. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a few technical items at the workshop, and they've all been addressed as of this evening.
Any questions or comments?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept as submitted with all the technical items been addressed.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Number 4 passes as well. Moving on to number 5. Final plat, Lakewood Subdivision Phase 8, requested by Womble & Associates. 15 proposed lots on 5.98 acres. Property located at Stones River Road and Hollandale Road. Tax map 016, parcels 13 and 23.01. R2 medium density residential zoning district. Property owned by Abnon Shrievman. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Similarly to the previous phase, the minor technical items that we had have all been addressed, and we have no omissions as of this evening.
Very good. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
All technical items been addressed, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
I have have a motion to accept as submitted. We have a second.
I'll second
Second.
it.
We have 2 seconds. We're good. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5 passes. Number 6, final plat Lakewood subdivision Phase 9 requested by Wamble and Associates. 28 proposed lots on 9.66 acres. Property located at Stones River Road and Hollandale Road, tax map 016, parcel 19.01 and 23.01, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Abnon Shriedman. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the last phase of Lake Woods, and similar to the previous 2 phases, the minor items that we had at the workshop have all been corrected, and we have no technical items to address tonight.
Very good. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Chairman, all technical items have been addressed. I make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Number 6 passes. Number 7, 1-year extension for preliminary plat of cottages of Lake Forest, Phase 6, requested by Wamble and Associates. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was just a request for a 1-year extension, as the preliminary plat will expire next month. There were no technical items to address, and you do have a copy this time in your packets.
Any questions from the board?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Have a, one more time, sir.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion to approve as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Number 7 passes. Number 8, final plat, cottages of Lake Forest Phase 4, requested by Wamble and Associates. 116 residential units on 8.92 acres. Property located along Nixon Way, tax map 014, part of parcel 6, R3 high density residential zoning district, property owned by Laverne LF Holdings LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was a previously approved plat from '07. It's not fully constructed and is now being picked up again for construction. And we have no technical items tonight for this item either.
Very good. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, with all the technical items been addressed, I make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 8 passes. Number 9, request to set bond for public improvements for cottages of Lake Forest Phase 4, requested by Wamble and Associates. 116 residential units on 8.92 acres. Property located along Nixon Way, tax map 014, part of parcel 6, R3 high density residential zoning district, property owned by Laverne LF Holdings LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You do have the estimates in your packet this time. I do apologize for not including those last time at the workshop. You can see that the estimate comes to $557,600 in total. The estimate has been reviewed by various parties, including the city engineer, and we have no items to address.
Very good. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
The engineer, you pleased with the estimate?
Yes, sir.
Is everyone happy with the estimate? Mr. Chairman, make a motion to accept the bond as set of $557,600.
I have a motion to accept the bond as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 9 passes. Number 10, final plat Hollandale Estates Phase 68, request by Wamble and Associates. 36 lots on 10.56 acres. Property located along Panama Lane, Mardi Gras Lane, and Hollandale Road. Tax map 014, part of parcel 11, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Laverne LF Holdings LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no technical items tonight for this item.
Good. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Technical items been addressed. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept. We have a second. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 9 passes. All right, number 10. That was number 10, correct?
That was number 10, yes.
Thank you. They're starting to run together a little bit. Number 11, request to set the bond for public improvements for Hollandale Estates, Phase 68, requested by Womble and Associates. 36 lots on 10.56 acres, property located along Panama Lane, Mardi Gras Lane, and Hollandale Road. Tax map 014, part of parcel 11. R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Vergne LF Holdings LLC. Ms. Costanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You do have the 3 construction bids and the estimate provided by Womble and Associates. The estimate comes in at $291,300 in total, and again, this estimate was reviewed by various parties, and the city engineer informed me that he was happy with the total, so we have no technical items to address for this request.
And do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Shall I make a motion to accept the bid of $291,300 for the bond amount?
We have a motion to accept the bond amount as submitted. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That will be accepted, that bond amount. Number 12, final plat Hollandale Estates, Phase 69, requested by Womble and Associates. 28 lots on 8.68 acres, property located along Mardi Gras Lane, Moshe Yolande Drive, tax map 014, part of parcel 11, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Vergne LF Holdings LLC. Ms. Costanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, I have no technical items to address tonight for the final plat for Hollandale Estates, Phase 69.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments from the board?
All technical items been addressed, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
A motion to accept is submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
No second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 13, request to set the bond for public improvements for Hollandale Estates, Phase 69, requested by Womble and Associates. 28 lots on 8.68 acres, property located along Mardi Gras Lane, Moshe Yolande Drive, tax map 014, part of parcel 11. R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Vergne LF Holdings LLC. Ms. Costanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have your 3 construction bids and the stamped estimate from Womble and Associates for Phase 69 of Hollandale Estates. And the estimate comes in at $249,000 even in total. Once again, the estimate was reviewed, and every department was happy with the number, so we have no technical items to address tonight.
Have any questions or comments from the board? Entertain a motion to accept or deny.
I'll make a motion to accept the bond amount as submitted.
A motion to accept is submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 14, final plat, 5605 Business Park Subdivision, requested by JR Properties Management, LLC. 4 proposed lots on 13.78 acres, property located at 5605 Murfreesboro Road. Tax map 018F, Group A, Parcel 1, C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District, property owned by JR Properties Management, LLC. Ms. Costanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did have a few items that were missing at the workshop pertaining to access easements and some basic details pertaining to the lot sizes and the acreage. And all of those items have been addressed as of this evening.
Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Chairman, with all the technical items been addressed, I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 15, preliminary plat, 5486 Murfreesboro Road, requested by Dale and Associates. 4 proposed lots on 3.92 acres, property located at 5486 Murfreesboro Road, tax map 018B, Group E, Parcel 5, C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District, property owned by Highway 41 Investors, LLC. Ms. Costanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had just a few minor technical items at the workshop. I did bring up the sanitary sewer extension, which was in limbo at the time. We have had some updates actually as of this afternoon, which the city engineer can provide you a little bit more detail. Otherwise, all the items have been addressed for this item.
Chairman, because it's such a big discussion, let's get some more input, because
Yes,
obviously
sir,
this will be a
please.
big deal for the sewer. This is just a site plan, but I'd like to get more input as far as this.
Yes, sir.
The site plan's currently showing a bore under 41 to tie into gravity sewer. We have asked the developer to tie into an existing gravity sewer on the other side of the pipe yard, Texas Energy. As late or early as this morning, we found a existing easement across that piece of property that we, obviously, the engineer of record had not found that as of today. So we're asking the developer to tie to that gravity sewer line that crosses 41 to the south, as opposed to boring under 41 directly across from the four lots. But like I said, we just found that easement this morning, and they haven't had time to revise their site plan, but that's what we've requested them to do.
So what you're saying is they are eligible and okay to tie into the Texas site on the same side of the road, rather than going underneath 41?
Yes. There's an existing sewer easement that was recorded in early 90s, 91 maybe. 15-foot easement across the frontage of the property, so.
I'm surprised they didn't find it themselves.
And I think the Texas Energy probably didn't know it was there either, so it's good news for everybody.
So since this is a preliminary, would we need it on the preliminary, or leave it as is and then handle it at development?
I mean, preliminary is usually shows the initial plans for construction. I think with the new plan, it will obviously have to be redone and shown on the construction plans, which have to be approved before they can even submit for final plat.
But
So,
we can move forward at this point with the
We would
preliminary.
want to see that before we submitted a final plat.
right.
Okay.
I mean, it being a site plan, I think it's appropriate.
Yes, sir.
So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the site plan as submitted.
We have a motion to accept the site plan as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Preliminary plat passes. That was hard to get out. Next item, number 16, site plan. 119 George Cheney Street, requested by Dempsey Dilling and Associates on behalf of Tony Campbell. Proposed motor vehicle sales on 0.56 acres, property located at 119 George Cheney Street, tax map 015M, Group B, Parcel 4, C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District, property owned by Tony Campbell. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a handful of items to discuss at the workshop. Several of them pertain to the TVA easement and the encroachment of the parking and the apron into that easement. We had asked that they provide a letter or an email indicating that they are allowed to utilize that. And Dempsey Dilling and Associates did provide actually the TVA email, the description of the easement, the right-of-way dedication that we requested on the western portion of the lot that showed the lot encroaching into George Cheney. He did provide me with that right-of-way exhibit as well as a legal description. So I actually have no technical items to have addressed tonight, and I want to thank Dempsey Dilling and Associates for a really good job in a quick amount of time, short amount of time.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board?
All technical items have been addressed, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept this submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 17. Site plan, Tennessee Valley Ice, requested by St. John Engineering, proposed 6,880 square foot building on 0.98 acres. Property located at 321 Mason Road, tax map 017, parcel 17, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by Tennessee Valley Ice. Ms. Stansky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You should have a deferral request at the end of your packet pertaining to this item. If you recall, at the workshop, we discussed the applicant going before the Construction Board of Appeals to see if they could get out of the sprinkler requirement because the building is over 5,000 square feet. But again, because it is for the storage of ice, they're hoping that they can get a variance from that provision, and therefore they've asked to defer this until February.
Very good. Moving on to number 18. Recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, Ordinance 2017, an amendment to the municipal zoning ordinance as it pertains to food trucks.
You have a very lengthy ordinance amendment in your hands now. It actually took quite a while to put it into ordinance format. I will go through generally all of the provisions that we went through at the workshop, plus the couple of items that we discussed, such as the electrical connection being inspected and approved by the state. I have synthesized all of those and then put it into the correct format for an ordinance. As you can see, section 1 is the development standards for mobile food vendors and food trucks. Part A is the definitions, which we just have 5. Then I have a section that goes over process and permitting, which starts all the way from the health department to business license to once you receive the business license, you're allowed to then go for a transient merchant permit. Of course, that has to be in conjunction with all of the requirements that go along with that in the municipal code. And in addition to item 6 there, you can see where I have added that the operator must contact both codes and planning for pre-inspection of the proposed location. Pre-inspection requires submittal of a site plan that shows the anticipated truck placement, parking area, required clearance, and proposed appurtenances for patrons, if any, that had to do with if they wanted to have seating or anything like that, as well as a solid waste plan for both grease and refuse and wastewater disposal. Again, number 7 is where I mentioned any vending operations utilizing on-site power have to have their connection inspected and approved, and proof of inspection has to be provided to codes and planning before operation commences. Part C is a long list of the operational rules and regulations, which we had discussed in detail as far as hours of operation, the districts that they can operate in. I did add it to number 4 of Part C that in relation to, we had discussed that they could operate in C1 in the commercial and industrial districts. I did add that this does not pertain to ice cream trucks operating in residential neighborhoods, seeing as those are never going to be zoned commercial or industrial. And then, along with that, let's see, where we discussed, okay, part 14, we had discussed the prohibiting the use of PA systems, bells, music that may be heard for anything more than 10 feet from the truck, and I again changed that to this does not pertain to ice cream trucks operating in residential neighborhoods. Number 11 was something we had discussed at the workshop. I added in that all of these operators must have a full 10 feet of clearance around the entire perimeter. I did also add that at number 15, no vendor or truck may be mounted on blocks or another type of foundation, that they must remain in a mobile state. Number 17 was the last thing that I added, which was what we had discussed, they may not sell alcohol. Section 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, add them into the permitted use table for the various commercial and industrial districts. And the following sections are all just the typical legal provisions that we have to have. I have sent the ordinance in its format to legal for review and consideration, and it's still in that channel, I believe.
You continue to review this?
Yeah, Kristen, from my cursory glance at this, it's very comprehensive. I haven't had a chance to go in depth to give it my blessing yet for a recommendation. So it may be wise for me to do so, and then if there's any issues or changes at the next workshop in terms of my legal review, I can bring those to light at the workshop, and it'd be ready for a vote at February meeting for recommendation either way up to the Board of Mayor Alderman.
Very good. So we're going to defer this till next month.
Before you defer, I got one other question. Before we defer on this, at what stage or what section or subsection is the insurance addressed?
That's covered by the transient merchant permit, which
Okay.
has the
Fine.
provisions in the municipal code.
Fine, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? We'll be deferring this item till next month and hopefully getting it moved on through. And our final item, bonds and letters of credit update, sir.
All the performance bonds and letters of credit for active subdivisions are up to date. The next one that is to expire is the A+ storage on Murfreesboro Road. I will be contacting them later this week or next week just to give them a heads up that it's coming due and we will need to have that renewed.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Meeting adjourned.